So it's a bit of a heavy toll on all of us, really, what has been happening in the last few days in our country. This is the only home that you and I have. We don't have an alternative country to live in. So when you see all that looting and the violence that has been happening, it really does affect all of us. Every day, some of us come here and you give the best that you can by way of trying to put together a picture of what's happening in the country, but you don't have a moment to take in fully what exactly is happening, the damage that is short, medium to long term that is being done to this only country that we have, where some of us are trying to raise our children in this country. We have our hopes invested in this country and our futures invested here. So there's a lot of despair in the air. There's a lot of confusion and anger, and people are hurting. South Africans are generally hurting, particularly in provinces like Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. But of course, even those provinces that are not affected, people there are hurting too. This is their country too, as they watch their economy, which was already battling, being decimated and destroyed. But in the midst of all of that, you are seeing a sense of South Africans rising up, right, and saying that we are bigger than this. There's more of us than those who are instigators and proponents of chaos and violence. And this morning I want to speak to some of those people who've stepped up. We've seen them in Soweto. We've seen them in the Northwest in Mahikeng. We've seen them in Tembisa. We've seen them in the Eastern Cape, taxi organizations that are saying, not in our name. This chaos and looting will not be tolerated, and they are standing up. So while we amplify, we give you the real picture of what has been happening in the country and in the two provinces, we must also amplify the voices of these patriots who are saying we will absolutely not allow any of this to happen on our watch. So I'll bring you a few of those interviews within this hour of those South Africans who have taken that stand. So let's start our coverage with some of our reporters. The South African National Defence Forces booths are on the ground in Alexandra in Johannesburg. The aim is to assist the police to calm ongoing protests. Well, let's not call them protests. They're riots. There's no protest here. It's riots. Let's take you to ENCA's Masego Rahlaga, who is in Alexandra Township, checking in on that situation around the looting and the response by government. And Masego, I see there that there are visuals that you are giving us live, and it's the Minister of Justice, Ronald Lamula, I see, and the MEC, Jacob Mamabolo. What are they doing in Alex this morning?
Good morning, Tilas. Well, basically what's happening in Alex today, we found out that a couple of ministers would be making their way here. Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Ronald Lamola, being the first one to arrive. We're expecting that the acting Minister of Health, Mameloko Kubai, would also arrive. We were also told that the Minister of the Security, Minister Ayanda Dlodlo, would also be coming here. And as you rightly said, the MEC of Roads and Transport in our province, Jacob Mamabolo, is also here. They're taking a walkabout to assess the situation here in Alexandra. Our understanding is that they would also be making their way to Soweto as well. So our understanding is that they are going to be taking a walkabout here to see and assess the damage that was caused, possibly also speak to community members if they are around here. So it's a multi-ministerial program that's going to be taking place here in Alexandra. And Tilas, I can tell you the soldiers are also still here, and we've got all levels of law enforcement. We also saw the Metro Police also here. We also saw the SAPS, which is also here. So I think what we're going to see here today is basically quite a number of people talking to us. So we also expect, Tilas, for instance, quite a lot of people also. So let me just put a mic there to speak to the minister.
Order is being restored, and that all that have been arrested are going to be taken through the court processes, and the law is going to take its course. But also to call all South Africans to clean up, to restore order and calm across the country.
We do know that yesterday 36 people were arrested in Alex within the past 24 hours. That was last night. How many more people have been arrested? Can you give us an estimate of how many people have been arrested?
I think that we will give as we we give the update later on after doing the whole process. Now we're just observing, and then we will come back to you.
1,234 people arrested, the figures coming out last night nationally. Do we have capacity to hold the growing numbers of people arrested nationally?
Yeah, at this stage we still have, but obviously it is going to increase the pressure in our correctional facilities, including in the police cells, and we are working together with both the police and ourselves to ensure that we are able to manage the situation, and also obviously complying with the COVID-19 protocols, so that those that are coming in, the remand detainees, they do not lead to massive upsurge of the COVID-19 in our facilities, because up to now we have been able to hold it, and it is calm, and we have got a very low number. So we are managing it in a manner that there will be no upsurge in the facilities, because those that are coming outside remains a huge risk for us.
Minister, Maseko here from ENCA. Just a quick question. Why today? Why are you coming into the community today when everything seems to be a little bit calm? I mean, it was chaotic in Alexandra from Sunday. Why is this multidisciplinary ministerial team deciding to come here today?
Obviously, we had to give the law enforcement a chance, and also the community leaders who were dealing with the situation. But we're also working from behind the scene. It's not that everything that we do should be in public platform. Since the upsurge of the situation, we have been working, and you will have seen us in escort after the incarceration of the former president. We have always been at work, but we can only come out when we have information, when we also have to look into the situation. That will further help us to make further decisions. Thank you.
The issue about the information has been a problem.
I think, Tilas, we'll obviously be getting more opportunity to speak to the minister. I think all of us have quite a couple of questions to ask him, and he's, basically trying to walk away in terms of, trying to make sure that we don't ask too many questions. But I'm going to try and approach him again, Tilas, because I have another question that I want to ask the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services. And I think a lot of us, in fact. Minister, just very quickly, it's Maseko again from ENCA. I just wanted to find out from you, Minister, in terms of what's been happening and what is still taking place in Alexandra. A lot of people are asking about the state of emergency. Would you say that South Africans are asking for too much by saying there should be a state of emergency?
Obviously, everyone is concerned across the country with the security situation, and we are also concerned, and we are continuing to monitor the situation. But as to whether there will be a state of emergency or not, it's only the prerogative of the president. He's the only one who can announce that, and as and when he wants to do it, he will do it. But at this stage, we do not have it. We are currently continuing to monitor the situation with the deployment of the Defence Force and all the security apparatus. So we are leaving that to processes of government, and we do not want to speculate about it. Thank you.
Minister, I want to hear from you.
All right, Tilasizwe, I think quite a lot of us are trying to find out from the different ministers. Of course, there are some of the other questions that we will pose to his colleagues who will be coming here. As I mentioned, there's a lot of questions that we have to pose to the Minister of State Security, Minister Ayanda Dlodlo, who is coming here. Of course, the acting Minister of Health, Mamuluko Kubai, is going to be a more concerned minister in terms of the fact that that vaccine rollout had to be paused, particularly on Monday, while the riots were still a bit more volatile than they are today. She's also going to be, of course, talking about the concern of the safety of health workers, some of whom couldn't even make their way to work, to Lasizwe, particularly in areas such as KZN, especially over the weekend and on Monday as well. So Tilas, I think maybe we'll still give you those visuals, because like I said, quite a number of ministers expected to join Minister Ronald Lamola here today.
Yeah, thank you for that. ENCA's Maseko Rahlaga there. And there was a critical question that Maseko asked there about the question of a state of emergency in terms of Section 37 of the Constitution. And she was asking it to the right person, really, in terms of the administration of justice and the pursuant curtailment of rights that would happen. Because let's be clear, while some sectors are calling for a state of emergency, we all need to be alert and alive to the reality of a state of emergency and the limitations that it comes with. It's not an all-out throwing out of the Constitution and saying the Constitution doesn't matter, but our freedoms would be curtailed to a very significant degree.